Hello everyone, I'm Laxmisagar, a Vision-Aid intern helping Vision-Aid Python students to improve their learning and supporting in their way of learning Python, the computer language. Today, through this video, I would be demonstrating a basic navigation and introduction to VS Code, that's Visual Studio Code, a product of Microsoft. Just to begin, I will let my system know what how is it. So it's a Windows 10 64-bit machine. Uh, I'm also a visually impaired person, so I would be using a screen reader that's NVDA, which is recommended from the Microsoft team to be used with VS Code for a better experience. And here I have VS Code that is 1.4.4, sorry, 1.44.0, which got updated to 1.44.03. If this is very important, if you are running an older version of VS Code that is 1.39 or maybe 1.44 and thinking about upgrading or uh, updating it to the latest one, keep in mind that before updating or upgrading, that's installing the March 2020 update, please disable your antivirus first and then go for the update. Otherwise, the antivirus will detect the location of the VS Code installation as corrupt. Hence, all the extensions, support packages that you will install inside VS Code will not work. Mm, yes, so that is one thing that need to be kept in mind. Yes, so the first time, yeah, one more thing that one need to be very careful before, not before, but while installing VS Code is please remember to check the box of add to environment variables or add to path variables. This is not just in case of VS Code, but also when you install your Python uh, Python interpreter that you download from python.org. In that also, remember to check the box add to path or add to environment variables. Then only VS Code will be able to detect Python on your system. Correct? Yes. So these two very basic requirements to have a successful running VS Code. Once VS Code and Python both are installed, one and the first time when you open your VS Code, what we get on our system, the first page is the welcome page where they'll tell us about their support teams, tutorials, keyboard bindings, and their Twitter pages and all of, and in between them there is a small checkbox that asks about if we want this welcome screen be here the next time we start VS Code. I have unchecked it so that I don't see that welcome page the next time or after the first time whenever I come back to VS Code. You can do the same also. Uh, if uh, if a sighted person is viewing the screen right now, he would be able to see that there is nothing on the screen. There are few uh, files that are named aligned on the right hand side part of the screen, that is left hand side of the user. Uh, those files list all the files are that I have created inside VS Code, and they are being stored in a particular folder that has been assigned for VS Code to save everything that I create in this IDE. So this is the second point where we need to specify specify a particular folder for VS Code to store everything that it wants, everything that we create. So just to demonstrate, I have already assigned a folder, but just for demonstration, I would be doing it here. So it's a keystroke that I would be pressing, that is Control K, Control O.
Open folder dialog, folder colon, edit, blank.
So I hope you heard NVDA's saying open folder dialog box. So I would navigate to wherever I want.
Select cancel button, up and address. Command module toolbar, organize button. Tree view, documents collapsed 1 of 1 level 2. Downloads, documents. Items, Lacklips works, ebook convey, ML3 Python scripts 4 of 7, Python line program 5 of 7.
So I have selected Python underline programs. Please do not hit enter in this. You need not to go inside. You just need to select it and
name split button, folder colon, select folder button.
That select folder button. Just press enter on this, and this folder or whichever folder you select in this box will get assigned to VS Code. Correct? So as I have already selected, I will simply cancel
button.
This.
Space.
Correct? This is one thing. After this, this is a very new installation of VS Code that we have on our systems. So the first thing that we need to do is install an appropriate extension for VS Code to help us write our codes. So as I help my Python students, so I will be installing a Python extension for VS Code. So how will I install that? VS Code has an it's a marketplace from where you can download all the extensions that you require. So there is a shortcut also, that is Control Shift X for zeros.
Application, complementary landmark, search extensions in marketplace, edit as autocomplete multi-line, blank, 2 extensions found in the enabled section.
So that's it. So as soon as I pressed Control Shift X, it took me to an edit box where I can type the extension that I want. So I will simply type Python
B Y T H O N 280 extensions found in the marketplace section.
So there are more than 280 extensions that are relevant to Python. Correct? So just to go through what is the list, how the list looks like, I will just press a tab.
Extensions. Use the navigation. Python 2000. Linting. Deep refactoring. Microsoft. Toolbar button. Man. Out of toolbar. Python language extension for this code.
Okay. So the recommended here is to select the first Python in the search results. Okay.
Python for toolbar out of tool refactoring. New linting. Python 2020.4.76186.
Okay. This is the first that has been recommended. So here are two things. Either you can hit enter on this Python and get a documentation of this extension. Who has created this, what does it contain, how it benefits, what are its features, and all those things. Otherwise, you can simply take a tab.
Main landmark clickable group 1 left paren empty right paren. Navigation landmark active view switcher toolbar explorer left paren control plus shift plus E right paren button explorer left paren control plus shift plus E right paren. Search left paren source control run left extensions manage toolbar manage button complementary landmark extensions colon marketplace actions tool more actions menu button search extensions in extensions main landmark clickable group 1 left paren empty right paren.
Okay,
complementary
there is no
landmark
install button here right now.
Python
So
Python press enter for
we will directly hit enter on this Python. So those who can see, they would realize that a big bunch of text has appeared on the main screen, that is left hand side of the screen and right hand side of the user.
Toolbar, manage button. Main landmark clickable button close left parent out of clickable out of toolbar unlabeled clickable Python. ms-python.python. Clickable Microsoft. 19,612,964.
So after pressing 3 time tabs, it brings me back to the new text that has opened, the documentation that has been opened. So
clickable ms-python.python. Clickable Python. Unlabeled graphic to get missing image. Click clickable Microsoft.
So it's a Microsoft made Python extension.
19,612
million have installed this extension.
Clickable rated by 313 users.
Rated by 313.
Clickable repository. Clickable license. Linting. Deep refactory. Toolbar button. Button uninstall. Button unavailable. This extension is enabled globally. Button uninstall.
So here it is giving me uninstall button because I have already installed this. If you are new to VS Code and trying to install, here you will find install button. You can directly click here and there will be a bar showing how much installation has done, and after the installation this screen will automatically disappear and it will say Python extension enabled. Correct? So I will close this.
Disable button. Clickable license. Clickable repository. Clickable rated by 19 million. Editor actions to split editor right left. Tab control extension Python. Complementary landmark extensions. Use the navigation keys to navigate list. Toolbar manage button. Python. Press enter for extension details. This extension is enabled globally. 1 of 280. Search extensions in extensions marketplace actions. Clear extensions input button. Space. Search extensions in market. Extensions actions toolbar. More actions. Menu button submenu. Space. Show install. Show update. Show enable. Show disable. Show build. Show recommend. Show popular. Check for extension. Disable auto updating. Install from V6. Disable all installed. Show installed extensions 1 of 50. Show outdated extension. Navigation landmark. Manage toolbar. Active view switcher toolbar. Extensions left parent control plus shift plus X right parent button. Extensions left parent. Run left parent source control. Search left. Explorer left. Frame scroll to top button number. Extension Python.
Okay. So here are few shortcuts that one should really keep in mind. Control W, that closes the nearest tab that is opened. Control N, that opens a text file. So Control N opens a text file, but the same text file functions as a Python script file or an HTML script file or a C number script file only after you save that text file with the appropriate extension. So something like, if I do Control N now and open a text file here.
Application, main landmark, untitled -1 editor edit have autocomplete multi-line, blank. So
the text file is open. The focus has directly fallen inside the text file. And right now it is completely simply a text file. And how will I know that? If I'm a Python user and I simply give a if statement and hit enter, it won't indent the second line automatically because in text files it doesn't happen. But if I save the file by .py extension and repeat the same, it will automatically indent the line after if with 4 spaces. Okay, so let's try that.
I F space 2 greater 0 colon P R T left paren quote Y bang quote right paren Print left paren P. Line P. P.
So
Line P.
the second line starts with P,
Line feed.
and as I did left arrow, it says line feed, meaning there is nothing before P. It directly takes me to the first line, end of first line. Correct? So this is how a normal text file behaves. We all know it. I will just save it as a .py file now. So that's Control S. A save dialog box has opened. I'm afraid.
File name : combo box collapsed. Edit Alt plus N. Selected untitled -1.txt.
Okay, so how will I select it? Sorry, what name should I give it? Okay,
GIVE
give
dot
py.
py. Save as type : combo box plain text left paren star.txt semi star dot git ignore right paren toolbar hide folders button. Save button Alt plus S.
Okay, save button.
Space. Circle if to greater 0 : bullet untitled -1 hyphen line program Visual Studio Code. Circle if to greater 0 : bullet untitled -1 hyphen line program Visual Studio Code document. Circle if to greater 0 : bullet untitled -1 hyphen line program Visual Studio Code document application main landmark untitled -1 editor edit for autocomplete multiline if to greater 0 : info : running file create participants left paren code again right paren give.py editor edit for autocomplete multiline if to greater 0 :
Okay, so the file has been renamed as give.py.
print left if to greater 0 :
and let me
print left E bang E Y quote left T N I R P line feed meeting Zoom cloud meeting controls give.py hyphen line.
I want to delete the second line because I know it is incorrect. So I need not to select the entire line and then hit the delete button to completely delete the line. I just need to do one keystroke, that is Control Shift K, and it will delete the entire line. I only need to keep in mind that when I do Control Shift K, my focus is on that line, the line that I want to delete. Correct? The second line has disappeared.
Line B.
So after colon, I will hit enter once again to see whether the indentation comes or not. Because now the file is .py.
Line feed. Space. Line feed.
There is an indentation. When I did left, it said space. And I assume that there are 4 spaces. So now
P R N T print 1 of.
Yeah, here is one more thing.
Print 1 of 3.
As I was typing print, it was giving me it gives you suggestion to all the functions that you enter. And so let me type the print once again.
Print 1 of 5. Print 3 of 9.
So
give.py editor edit for autocomplete multiline blank P. Print 3 of 9.
So as soon as I typed P, it gave me 9 suggestions, out of which the first one is print, and I want print. So to select that, I will just do tab.
Give.py editor edit for T.
So
line feed.
that print came there on my file, and next to T, my cursor is there. So I will insert the parenthesis,
left paren, values, hint,
the quote, and whatever I want to put in.
Quote. Right paren.
Right? Yes.
Space. Line feed.
So that is that is how one would differentiate between a normal text file and the difference that you see after saving that normal text file into a specified extension file like py file or HTML or R or RMD or MD, correct? So here is something more that one need to know. If you want to run this file and see what output you get, there are 3 ways to do so. One is the most of us know, that's Control F5. That's very common. Uh, the second is, as you are inside the file, you just click your application key,
Menu.
and here
Go.
you
Go.
will
Peak submenu.
find here in the options that you get, you will find the option run the current
Rename.
file.
Change. Format. Format. Source hash. Cut. Copy. Paste. Run current test file 13 of 18.
Correct?
Run Python file in terminal 14 of run selection slash line in Python to run current file in Python interactive window 60. Run current test file 30.
The first option we would take. Uh, hmm. If I do this, it will open a terminal on the bottom side of the screen. I won't do that because there is one more way to tell. That is a manual way of pressing Control and Grav. Grav is the key just above Tab key or below Escape key, and it opens a terminal, a new terminal, where I can simply do Python space. Let me do that.
Terminal 1. Complementary landmark. Terminal input edit. Blank. Microsoft Windows left bracket version 10.0.17134.1 right bracket left parent.
Okay, thank you NVDA for speaking so much.
Microsoft Windows left bracket.
Okay, enough.
Microsoft.
Enough.
Microsoft.
Yes. So by default, when I press Control Graph, my focus falls in the edit box where I can directly start typing the instruction that I want to give to the terminal. That is
P Y T H O
Python
N
Python
space
G
G
I
left I
V
V
E
E dot
dot P
P
Y.
Y.
Okay.
File quote give dot py quote line to print left parent quote e quote right parent caret indentation error colon expected unindented block. File quote give dot py quote line to print left parent quote e quote right parent caret indentation error colon expected unindented block left parent base right.
Okay. So there is an indent in my file up there in the second line, but still I get an error here in the terminal. The reason is very small, just that after writing that code, I did not save. I should have did Control S to save the latest modification that I have done to the file. So I will do Control
Give dot py 31
Tab to go back to the file.
print left parent quote e quote right parent space line feed space P.
There are 4 spaces before P. So Control S. I will do Control Graph again.
Terminal 1 left parent occurred again right parent complementary landmark. Terminal input edit blank.
Terminal input edit. That is
P Y T A N space G
Python
E dot P
GIVE.py.
Y. E left parent base right parent C colon.
So it said yay, YE. Okay. So, but if I want to read it again,
Blank 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 left parent base right parent C colon backslash users blank 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 left parent blank 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 E.
so here is a small difference. The terminal that is open here in VS Code is either PowerShell or the command prompt. In my case, it is command prompt because I have selected it manually, correct? But by default, uh, when you install your VS Code, the terminal that gets selected by default is PowerShell. So uh, either you are in PowerShell or command prompt. If you want to read the output that is produced on the terminal, either the error or the proper output that you had expected, you need to do Control up arrow or down arrow to read the output. Okay. So this is what terminal has done. I want to go back to my file and show you something else also.
Main landmark blank.
So you must have realized that I pressed something by which my terminal went away. I pressed Control Graph once again, through which the terminal went away and my focus fell on the file. Correct?
Print left blank.
So here I am going to do a mistake, that is I will remove the indent that is there in front of print and would want to
Print
show
left.
you a feature of VS Code.
Space. 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 B. Space. N. D. N. I. N. D. Left parent. D. N. I. R. P. Line feed. P.
Okay, so you must have realized that when the indentation was inserted to the file, there were 4 spaces. But to delete those 4 spaces, I had to take only one backspace. So that is one more thing that one need to keep in mind while removing the indentation. Correct? So now it is a very visible mistake that the print does not have a indent in front of it. So, but before running this file, I want to check if my file has some error or not. And to do that, I have a feature here that goes through the file and lists the number of errors or no errors in the file. So to activate that part of VS Code, the shortcut is Control Shift M. Control Shift M.
Complementary landmark. Tree view.
So here is the thing.
Level 1 problems in file give.py folder not expanded.
There is one problem in give.py, and that is
Level 2 error generated by palint colon. Expected unindented block left paren less unknown greater. Line 2 right paren at line 2 and character 6.
correct. In line 2, there is an expected indentation. And if, and to read this, I just did down arrow 2 times, and it read. Uh, to go back to the file, I can do
Give.py 1 of 1.
Control Tab, and I am back to my file.
If to break. Print
So
left.
the VS Code told me that
P.
I need to give an indentation before print. I pressed tab and it inserted 4 spaces.
Space. P. Space. Space. Line feed. Space.
Yes, 4 spaces. Those who can see would realize that as I will save the file, the error that has got displayed below will disappear. Control S, correct? The error has disappeared, and because for those who are mostly dependent on screen readers, I will again press Control Shift M and see what is the status on the problems bar.
Complementary landmark. No problems have been detected in the workspace so far.
Correct? No problems have been detected so far. So thank you very much, problems bar. Yeah. So
Main landmark blank.
that is to get correct yourself before running your file into the terminal. That is one more feature of this VS Code. So these were few things that were related to the terminal, but there is one more. Few more things that would make our life easier inside this. Suppose I have a big list of files that are there in my mail folder, in the main folder that is associated with this VS Code, and I don't really want to move and I want to get access to some one file that I have just recently accessed or opened. So there is a keystroke that is Control P. It gives you the list of recent files that you may have opened in last few VS Code uh, work work timing.
Search files by name left paren append colon to go to line or at to go to symbol right paren combo box has autocomplete editable. Search files by name left paren append colon to go to line or at.
Search files by name. That is
Give true.py2 of 8. Settings.json. Even.py4 of 8. Change.html5 of 8.
so these are few files those I accessed in last few VS Code work timings, and they are available in this tree view. I will just escape because I don't want to open anything that I have used in past. Suppose you want to do something either on the terminal or inside the editor box, inside the edit field of this file, but you don't know what keystroke to apply. So here there is what to say, a tree view where you can just type what you want, and if VS Code has a command for it, it will give you options related to that. So that tree view can be activated by Control Shift P. Okay, that is Control Shift P.
Type the name of a command to run combo box has autocomplete editable. Great.
So suppose I need some commands related to terminal.
D. 539 results. Terminal colon. Select default shell 1 of 539.
So if I want to select the default shell of the terminal, that is the first option that I get as soon as I type T. And there are around 500 options that are related to a keyword T.
E. R. Terminal colon. Select default shell 1 of 209. 9M. I. N. Terminal A. Terminal L. 62 results. Terminal colon. Select default shell.
So after finishing the word terminal, I get in total 62 actions that can be performed or have some relation to do with terminal. Correct? So this is how VS Code tries to help the user, or and still if you are not uh, satisfied with VS Codes and what it gives you, you can check its uh, uh, documentation on keystrokes, the entire keystrokes that are available. So that is Control K, Control S.
Showing 1460 key bindings in alphabetical order. Edit type to search in key bindings. Type to search in key bindings. Blank.
That is 1400 key bindings arranged alphabetically. So use down arrow or
Default editor text. When is editor text focus? When is editor text focus? Editor text focus. Default. Add cursors to line ends. Shift plus Alt plus I. When is editor text focus? Editor text focus. Default. Add line comment.
so these are 1400 key bindings that are available. If you may have heard the screen reader, as soon as I typed Control K, Control S, it fell in an edit box. There we can type the command that we want a relevant to, correct? So that can also be done here. So because this is a new page that has opened inside VS Code, I can't do escape. I have to do Control W to close this,
Keyboard shortcut /hyphen line program.
right? Yes. So other than doing Control P and getting access to the recently opened files, If I want to really access all the files that are there in the main folder, the folder that we associated with VS Code, I can do Control Shift E to go there and look out what files are there and which one I want to use. Control Shift E.
Complementary landmark. Search colon. Type search term and press enter to search or escape. Blank. Blank.
Okay, sorry. I did Control Shift F. Sorry.
English. Give.py-line program Visual Studio Code document. Applic. Next.py not selected level 1. Blank. 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 Print left paren quote e quote right. Print left if 2 greater 0 code. Complementary landmark. Files Explorer. Even.py not sit.
So as soon as you press Control Shift E, it should say File Explorer, correct? So after it says File Explorer, you start moving
First
down
stop give.
and check out all the files that are available in that folder. Suppose you want to rename a file or want to delete a file, you can directly do it from here. You need not to visit the original folder at its directory. So just do F2.
Type file name. Press enter to confirm or escape to cancel edit. Selected give.
So it it tells you type file name, hit enter or escape, correct? So escape.
Print left paren quote e.
Yes. So
First.py not sit.
as soon as I do escape anywhere, it brings my focus directly inside the file where I was typing. Hmm, yes. There are few things that need to be kept in mind here is uh, though NVDA is recommended with VS Code here, but sometimes when you switch to the problems menu, that is Control Shift M, or the terminal that we just went by Control Graph or Control F5 or the application menu. Sometimes what happens is when we try to do down arrow and read the content, it really doesn't happen. So the issue uh, that generally that have been reported on the Microsoft's complaint portal or people have tried to find a solution for is switching between browse mode and focus mode. And so if you are a JAWS user, especially if you are a JAWS 2020 user, though VS Code is not supported, but it provides you an automatic switch between browse and focus mode. But in NVDA, you can switch between both those modes by pressing insert and space. Yes, so uh, for example, uh, in the beginning, we saw the documentation for the Python extension that we tried to install. Sometimes what happens is when you press enter on the Python extension and come to read the documentation, it doesn't read. Visually, the paras go down, go down, go down. The screen moves, the documentation moves, the page go up, but screen reader doesn't read it because to read line by line you need browse mode activated, and to do that insert space is useful, and it is the only way that you can switch between browse mode and focus mode, correct? It may happen that you may not require to switch between browse mode and focus mode that frequently, because when I was showing you the problems view, that is Control Shift M, I need not to switch between browse mode and focus mode, and that was very surprising for me because initially or uh, in last few days that I have used, or last 6 or 7 months that I have used VS Code, I had to switch between browse mode and focus mode to read the text that had appeared there. Yes, so these are few frequent changes that you will realize, uh, because this is an issue of screen reader in behaving not in a particular way all the time. There is no uniformity that has been noticed. It is very appropriate, or you can say recommended, that you depend on key bindings to move across the VS Code window here. So instead of doing down arrow or tab, doing Control Shift E, Control Shift X, Control P, Control Shift P, and Control K, Control S, Control Shift K, and other key bindings that you will discover on yourself would be more helpful, much helpful than just using arrow keys and tabs. So uh, that was all for the day. Thank you very much.